Hello and welcome to ShareSync. Today we have a very special episode. It's International Women's Day and a special podcast. We've got two very, very special guests with us today. We've got Pandora, a co-founder of Love+Madness. Hello, Pandora.
Hi, how are you doing?
Hello, I'm good, thank you. It's so good to have you here. We've also got Cass, who is the Training and Youth Development Officer of Watch and Steering Group member of Hills FM. Hello, Cass.
Hello, thank you for having me.
It's so good to have you in our studio. How are you doing?
Yeah, good. I feel like I'm cheating a little bit. It's a different studio. Every time I go to a different studio, I'm like, no, I promise I'm still from Hills FM.
Yeah. And Akram, one of our regular contributors to ShareSync. Hello.
Hi.
So today on our ShareSync podcast, International Women's Day special, we're going to talk about a range of different projects and topics that around women in the creative industries and some of the challenges we may face as well. But before we do that, Pandora and Cass, do you want to talk a little bit more about your roles and your work within the industry and tell our listeners a little bit more about yourselves?
My name's Pandora Craig and I'm co-founder of Love+Madness, but before that I was a budding musician, but I faced a lot of barriers. So I co-founded Love+Madness to help people who had experienced barriers to the industry like I had, and to give them opportunity to have videos and productions, all things that are out of reach when you haven't got much money, and also to get some mentoring and give people the opportunity. I am also on the steering group at Hills because we're a community record label, Love+Madness, and it made sense to have a partnership with Hills, being community radio. So Chris Clark and I are both on the steering group and we help with events and community partnerships.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Cass as well.
Right, so I'm going to condense all of mine because I feel like I could go and chat about this forever, but I'm kind of a newbie in terms of being in the creative industry. After graduating university, I got into Watch through work experience because I wanted some experience in the radio, and then down the line I got a job there, and that opened me to communities and opportunities in the community, and being involved in the good work that this industry does. And then I had a bit of an existential crisis, as a 20-year-old would have, and I went and changed my what I wanted to do with my career, and then I was like, I don't like it. I want to go back to do community work, and I came back to Watch, and now I'm a Training and Youth Development Officer, as well as steering group member at Hills FM. So with Hills FM, I actually had a show before while I was still working there, but now I'm more involved in the behind the scenes and trying to get the radio more hype, I guess, within Coventry. And apart from all of that, I'm also a writer and a theatre producer. So it all came out from my work in the community and trying to give voice to minorities and marginalized voices, basically. So it all kind of links together for me, but it all came from being part of Watch. So, yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness. That is so much. How do you manage to do everything? I could see Akram as well, like nodding, like, oh, my goodness.
Yeah. Two amazing ladies.
Yeah. We've got some great guests here for International Women's Day. We want to talk a little bit more about women who are just starting out in the media industries. They might be freelancers. They might want to start their creative portfolio, their creative work. Can we give any top tips or bits of advice for women just entering the industry now? Because it's so competitive, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I can't think of all of the things off the top of my head because there's probably so many things I could say.
Yeah.
But one of the main things is, I would say, meet other people who've got the same goal as you, and compare notes. Also try and meet other people who've been on the journey already, and that might have some really good advice to give you in your particular area, whether it's producing or DJing or being a musician. Also, I would say don't try and mould yourself into what you think that the industry needs you to be. It's a common mistake.
Yeah.
And actually it takes away your creativity and your originality. And actually don't be afraid to be your own creative self. That would be the three main things I would say. And also get on social media and connect with people online as well. Community groups that do things for you as well in the area that you live in.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I definitely agree with that. Like I said, I'm kind of a newbie to this, so I've had to go through all of these steps myself. Fun fact, I'm quite an introvert myself, so I had to I had to be pushed out of my comfort zone a lot, and I've been very, very lucky that I got to work with other people who were more extroverted than me and encouraged me to go into different groups to get more of a social network. And that's the thing, going to networking events is so important because that's where you get a lot of like-minded people in the industry.
Absolutely.
For Coventry, I would definitely recommend the Artist Network at the Belgrade, and Talking Birds are very, very good. And just community centers, because I found this while working at Watch. It doesn't matter that you're a community center and you are just offering services. Because we are a community center, we're able to identify different organizations around the city, and whether that's organizations that provide other services to users or are more niche in being in the creative industry, we're able to refer other people to places where they would get more experience. So I was very lucky in the sense that I went through that. And it's very important as well to find people who you can relate to, because in the industry, it's there's kind of two sides that I found, where it's a lot of people who've been there for years and have settled themselves and have kind of their own presence and they have their own network. And then it's all the new people that are trying to come in, whether they're from other industries, other cities, or they're just trying to expand their horizons in the creative industry. And you can kind of gel with all of these groups. But if you find someone, like Pandora said, that's kind of in the same journey as you or has been through the same journey, that can give you valuable advice, it's great. And also within that, you might find someone who can mentor you and help you out whilst you're figuring things out, which is something that I was very lucky to do. Like, for example, my mentor, very funnily enough, is a former lawyer who is retired and has been in the industry for a couple of years, and he's a playwright. So we kind of gel in different ways. But when I was like, I want to try producing, he was like, I will help you out. I'll check all of these contacts that I have and give them your details so you can figure out what you want to do. And above all else is finding people that will give you the opportunity. And I think that's something, as someone that comes from a community center, it's all about giving communities and chances to people. And that's really what anyone needs, is just being like, yeah, there's someone that believes that I can do it. So, yeah, and also us creatives are very, even though some of us may be introverted or extroverted, we gel very quickly with each other because we have the same kind of mindset. So once you have that network, you don't only have a network, you have a support system, which I think can really help you develop once you're trying to find yourself within the industry.
Absolutely. That is some great advice. Oh my goodness. Thank you this is so lovely.
Oh, and if you're a musician and you want mentoring, contact Love and Madness.
Yes, absolutely.
Because we offer that service.
Yes. This is exactly what Share Sync is all about. We want to share these opportunities, and like you say, Cass, as well, it's that supporting of one another as well. Fantastic.
It does seem really hard at first, thinking in this type of industry you have to network and you have to go on LinkedIn and all this kind of stuff. Like, I'm not used to this. Before this, I was at a different uni. I was doing medical physiology. I was doing a science-based thing, which I never really liked, but felt like I should do because of, you know, my parents and all of that. And like, it was really hard for me at first, thinking, okay, do I actually want to, I really do want to do something in media. I want to do something in the creative industries. Hearing what you said about how, I mean, this happens to everyone basically. At any stage of your life, you're like, okay, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. Let me try something else. And then you go back maybe if you don't like it, or you keep going forward. It just gives me
that's right.
It
I'm late to the party with creative. I used to work in IT.
And there shouldn't even be like a thing where you're thinking you're late to the party. Like, we should just be able to do whatever we want at any age.
Exactly.
I mean,
So Akram, what you were saying there is really important in terms of at any stage of your career. You should be able to feel that you can empowered to go out into the creative industries, which is what we're talking about today as women in the industry as well, ourselves, but also sharing that experience and everything like that. So, and Pandora, you were just talking about your work as well from in the music industry. Is this right?
Yeah. So I used to have to get into tech because I needed a souped up computer to process my files back in the day. And that got me into tech. And then I went to night school and learnt how to program, and then I became a programmer. But I always missed the creative side. And I guess about 4 or 5 years ago, I came back into what I love. And I've not looked back. It's such a great industry to work in. Yes, there's some barriers, but actually in the main, you meet your tribe. And you feel at home. So actually there's lots of positives about it as well as the challenges.
Fantastic. And what do you think some of those challenges are, and how can we overcome them? I know that's a really hard question to ask.
I've got a couple of stats.
Oh, here we go.
Right.
This is the first for
I love a little stat. So 79% of women in music are performers.
Wow.
But only 15% of sound engineers are women. Only 12% of studio or mastering engineers are women. 29% of DJs are women and 24% of producers. So actually, we have come a long way. That used to be a lot lower figures. And it's great. We've got loads of female performers. But for me, the challenge is how to change those figures for a more balanced, diverse industry. And although all the industry bosses seem to be aware and they have programs, there does seem to be, it's taking quite a long time. So I think it's up to us to shout out about this as many times as we can, so that people perceive you can be in the industry, to show people that actually it's a great career, and to attract more women to the industry. Because sometimes it is as simple as that. You can be a sound engineer. Here's the pathway. Go to Media Mania, or whatever the pathway might be. So
just to what you were saying, Pandora, you've given me 2 segues to go into that. I think especially it's once you're in the community, you are able to see and address, to identify what the issues are. And I like to say this about all community centers and all community organizations. We're at the front line. We are able to be there in person, one-to-one with the community, and being like, right, what's the issue? Is there something that we can do? And once we identify that, we can create projects, or we can create anything that will be able to address it. Obviously, there will be need for funding, as most things, but we are able to identify the issues, and there's no one that can help more the community than the actual community. Within regards to these stats that you said, and because you said Media Mania, I was about to say something. One of my best friends, shout out to Lily Smith. She's one of the staff members at Media Mania. And her and one of my other mates, Grace Boylan, whoop whoop, they created this project called SIS. And it was because of Grace's experience studying music production and stuff in BIM. She identified that a lot of music producers are males. And there was too much of a space that wasn't given to women. So she created this project, which is the SIS project, which stands for Sisters in Sound.
Fantastic.
And they basically created this course that's a 6-week course, free, in Media Mania, using the studio to allow young women and non-binary people to be introduced to music production. And I myself have been in the course, and I can absolutely recommend it. You go through the steps of what's in the studio, what's the equipment, how do you create a song, how do you master a song, and it's creating that space for women who wouldn't even think that want to go into music production or want to be in the music industry, but it's upskilling women. And girl power and all of that, but I feel like, not to this or anything, but us women are more aware of what needs to be done, and we actually do action plans to get it done, and especially the younger generations are more aware of what is needed within the community and what is needed with our peers. So it's creating those action plans that actually, gives the ability to other individuals to go down the path that they want or upskill to get where they want to be. So apart from all of that, I think a lot of young people, and I will include myself there, we are seeing the kind of the landscape of the world right now. We're like, right, so we have the cost of living crisis, things are going up. Yeah. I want to be a creative, but I need to earn money. And that's literally what happened to me when I wanted to swap jobs from Watch. And I was like, I need to pay my bills at the end of the day. And it gets into your head. You kind of lose track of your passions, and it's like, right, priorities, but I'm going to put my passions to the side and just think I need a paycheck at the end of the month to pay what I need to pay. And that I went from community work to recruitment, and I can tell you right now, the vibe was absolutely disastrous. It was so different. I was put in a little box room of an office in a very, very extravagant building in Coventry, and it was a box room with 4 other women shouting down the phone. We're all sat next to each other, and all I could think was, I just want my space like I have at Watch. Yes. I want to run into the studio when a presenter is having an issue. I want to run downstairs to reception if anyone has an issue, but I can't leave these 4 walls. And I was like, it was like what Pandora was saying, when you find your tribe, you find your tribe. And I left that job and I came to Watch, and I was like, even if I'm here to volunteer, can you take me back? It's like the prodigal son, right, returns. And I was like, I need to go back to what I know. And you can't, there are things where you need the actual experience to learn the lesson. And someone else can come in and tell you, oh, I've been through this, and you will learn that you have to do this and choose this and that, but until you experience it yourself, you won't be able to make that choice for yourself. So I had to go through that to then realize, right, I don't want to be in a 9-to-5 sit down office type of job. I want to be involved in something that gives meaning to something else.
That's not for everyone,
is
precisely.
It, that kind of
job?
And when you're a creative, you're put in a position where you have to have a normal job, quote unquote normal job, and then you're like, actually, this is not for me. I have too much ADHD to just be sat down in front of a computer.
Absolutely. But then when you say that, Cass, you're exactly right. You're expected to have this normal job, and then sometimes the creative side is seen as like a hobby, when actually it needs to be seen as we are professionals in the industry. This is what we can offer, and we're not offering our creativity for free, even though we need to be paid. We need to pay the mortgage. But that said, we love having that community ethos as well and be able to support each other. Absolutely right. And
adding to that, I feel like creatives, we have a more holistic approach to work. Yeah, I might say we're a bit of workaholics when it comes to being in the creative industry, but we also know how to support others when they're going through something that is affecting their creativity. We're able to give constructive feedback. We're able to give opportunity. Absolutely. So we don't have sometimes as freelancers, we don't have the perks of, like sick pay and holiday pay or whatever, but you kind of have your balance of pros and cons from what a normal job would be.
Absolutely. It's so crazy saying that normal job.
I know, it's funny. Well, there was nothing normal about playing with 5 totally different acts. Like one might be a choir, the other one's a band, and you just kind of swivel between different roles.
Yeah.
But what I love about creative industry is it's got something for everyone that's got creativity in their body. Because there's a job for everyone. If you don't want to be front of house and you don't want to be on the stage, there's loads of like lighting engineers and props experts and all of that kind of thing. And I think for me, it's showing young people what's available that we're not very good at. It seems to be, you have to be in the know to know these sort of niche jobs.
Yeah.
Whereas I think everyone should be able to be exposed to that if they're interested.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think, and this is something, Akram, I know you're definitely doing at the moment, is that importance of capturing behind the scenes and your journey in the creative industry. Is that something you find being able to share out, especially whilst you're currently working with Cass and Pandora at the moment as well? Yeah. So being able to capture that, do you feel like you're sharing like your story, your impact, and what you can do as well as a woman in the creative industry?
I do think that, like, for me personally, I don't know if it's just the way the stuff that I've been doing for the past few years, like being very science-based, I had to get used to actually like taking pictures of things and, you know, making memories of stuff. Like that just wasn't like an instinct type of thing. I was like, well, I was there and I really liked it, but I'm like, how am I meant to show that? Realistically, I know the way to do that is obviously posting on social media, and it really helps you too, because it's like you can look back in that even in only a few months and think, I remember that was amazing. Hopefully help other people to see that type of creative aspect and that creative side. So I have actually been doing that more nowadays, trying to be more creative, because I'm like, if I want to go into this type of industry, then I have to, you know, obviously do things like that. And it's not like something that I'm forcing myself to do. It's something that I actually love doing now. So I'm happy I found out about media and communications.
But now all the people on your socials are seeing that too.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So shocked.
Yeah. No, that's fantastic though, because it opens so many doors. It's not just, I mean, media is such a broad word, right? This covers so many areas and opens so many doors. And currently with Watch Charity and Hills FM, can you talk to us a little bit more about that community and the charity, and a little bit more of what can we expect in 2025 for Watch and Hills?
Should I take this one?
Yes,
definitely. So just a bit of a background with Watch. Watch has been around in the industry. I was going to say in the community for almost a bit over 25 years. We're going over 30. And the whole objective of Watch was to tackle issues in the community relating to training and unemployment, and just giving a platform for the marginalized voices that we had in the community. The thing with Hillfields, which I think is talked a lot, but it's also not, because Hillfield seems to be a very stigmatized area in Coventry, and it's quite difficult as well when you're trying to talk about all of the good work that you're doing, but everyone is like, oh yeah, but it's Hillfields, and it's like I think
that even happened to me yesterday. Sorry to cut you off. No. It's like I was just speaking to one of my friends yesterday, and he was telling me about how I was telling him where my accommodation was, and he said, oh, I used to live in Hillfields, and then it was like, oh, that place is I was thinking, oh,
yeah,
they have a specific narrative, and like, yeah, it can be like that, but you have to think of the positive sides too.
Yeah,
this is just people actually live here, you know. They're human beings who are living in an area. Be conscious of that, of what you're actually saying.
Yeah, precisely. And I think in any city there's going to be a stigmatized area, and in Coventry, Hillfields is not even one of the rougher areas that we have. So, but for some reason it's been pinpointed as that, and a lot of people have have a lot of prejudices when it comes to Hillfields. But Watch, which stands for Working Actively to Change Hillfields, was there to, like I said, change the narrative. So we started with employment and training, and that went great. And Hills FM came about as a project from Watch to give young people a platform to engage and upskill, and giving them a space to go to after school. Like we said, Hillfields has a lot of issues, but we wanted to get kids out of the street so they could have a safe place, just like any other individual in the community. So Hills FM went from being this little internet radio station to then getting an Ofcom license, and we've been renovating them since 2005, and now we're basically the biggest community radio in Coventry. So if you look up on Google community radio in Coventry, the first thing that you'll see is Hills FM.
Fantastic.
We have a lot of things going on at the moment with Watch. Currently we have 3 projects. So the one that I'm kind of leading on is the radio training. So like I said, Hills FM is a community radio station, and our motto is local voices, local people, local music, and that's all because it's the community giving their voice through the radio. So we train the community on the radio. You don't have to have any experience in media or the radio, and we train you from the very basics to upskill you in IT and media, basically. And then once you get the confidence at the end of the course, you're able to do a demo of whatever show you want to do on the radio. That gets sent to the steering group. The steering group will give feedback, and if it's all good, then we sit you down and we're like, right, when do you want to have a show? How long do you want it to be? We can promote it and stuff, and then you have a radio show, whether that's live on air or pre-recorded. And that just helps individuals get confidence. A lot of people that we work with in the community don't have that confidence because they're new to Coventry. They might have rough experiences, past experiences. They're not able to socialize properly. So putting them in this safe environment where they're able to, widen their social circle, but also, work on themselves. It's a great thing that we do at Hills FM. So that's one of the things that we do, the radio training, which I think is one of our most popular projects. And then we have our energy champions, where we basically train a group of volunteers to help out the community in terms of their energy. So how to best save, what to best do at home, how to basically manage your bills. And then we have a new one coming up that's called Digital Divide, where we actually, same thing, we train volunteers to go out into the community to help people be more versatile with their devices. So that would be people that are not able to go out of the house for whatever reason. We can go in and help them learn how to work a smartphone, how to work a laptop, how to get an appointment for their surgery or for the dentist and stuff like that. And we're also a data bank center, so if there's an individual that comes in and needs a SIM card, we're able to provide them with a SIM card so they're able to call and text and have access to internet. We're also able to give laptops for any students that are going into uni, need a laptop to do their assessments and stuff. So Watch has changed a lot in the sense of we have new projects every other year, but it's because of what we were talking before. We're able to identify what's wrong in the community, what's the gap that needs to be filled in terms of what our community is lacking and where we can upskill them. Because like we were saying before, Hillfields is kind of a very stigmatized area, and it's not given the same opportunities as maybe the city center, people living in the city center would. So it's giving them the chance to be on the same level as everyone else and being given the same opportunities. So that's what we were saying, filling the gap within the community. So every year we can have a different project depending on what the issues that may be arising within Hillfields. So it's a bit hard to say what we can have in the future. Definitely more projects, definitely more newer shows that are more community based.
And we are going to so Love and Madness, the reason we collaborated was so that we could do joint events, because we saw the advantage in doing joint events with Hills, and also we encourage people to feed the Hills FM charts.
Yes.
We encourage them to be on there. And so in the next year, we're looking at doing more events together and celebrating that chart and what Hills have done there as well.
Fantastic. So do you both find that, do you support the women who come through, particularly as this is International Women's Day special episode? Is there any key moments where you've thought, right, that's actually really helped for women in media, in the creative industries?
I think I'd like to shout out Kate Hills, actually.
Yes, I was thinking of that as well.
Hello, Kate.
She was the one that encouraged me to do that and made me really welcome. She was a good person to talk to about what the aims of the charity were, and she had such a good outlook that made me feel very at home straight away.
Oh,
Yeah.
So I would
brilliant.
say, yeah.
I will add as well Kate Hills, who's my mama Kate. She is the vice chair of Hills FM. And she's also the chair of Positive Images Festival. Now, with Positive Images Festival, we have kind of like a partnership at Watch where Kate actually manages the Create to Motivate workshops, which is a workshop for women, by women, to give them a safe space to share their experiences while doing arts and crafts, basically. So it's open to any woman, whatever age, and it's just a safe space. You do arts and crafts, you get to paint, you get to decorate totes and have tea and biscuits while you talk about anything.
How cool.
Really.
We need to get down there. We need to come by. We'd love to actually do some like behind the scenes videos. Maybe we could come along and take some photos. That'd be brilliant. And,
that'd be
and get
great.
involved. I want a tote bag. I love tote bags. Oh, fantastic. Oh, wow. So it's great to hear all these exciting projects, the current industry, and being able to really shout out about what women are doing in the creative arts and in our community as well, which is really, really key.
I just wanted to give to have the opportunity to give a shout out to the amazing women at Watch. Our CEO just turned 30 on December, and that's Nadia. Big shout out to Nadia.
Hi, Nadia.
And
Happy
I think,
birthday.
Yeah. And I think I wanted to highlight with Nadia that for a CEO, she's still kind of getting out of that young. I'm so sorry, Nadia. You're still a young person. You are. But it's a powerful move to have a young woman become a CEO of such an community ingrained organization, and Nadia was just offered this role and she rolled with it amazingly, and we've been able to keep afloat and have incredible projects coming in through the center because of her hard work. Like I said, young people, we know what needs to be done, and then we've talked about Kate. I also wanted to give a shout out to Aga, who is our communications and marketing manager now, and she also helps a lot with the radio, and Alex, who is our energy champion lead, that project that I was mentioning before, and just all the amazing women and volunteers that we have at the center who really work so hard to be able to accommodate everyone in the community every single day. It can get very, very busy at the charity, and even our librarian Hillary, she's very she won't just stay in the library. As soon as she sees someone else coming to the center, she's like, yeah, what do I need to do? Where do I help? So we're very community and great, but we're a very well-oiled machine team. So shout out to all of my ladies at Watch.
Whoa, fantastic. Oh my goodness, this is such a wonderful episode actually, and yeah, absolutely. I think being able to show that community spirit, but even more so, particularly because it's International Women's Day, being able to support women who are doing fantastic work within our community and that impact that they have.
There's too many female artists for me to speak out and big up right now. They all know who they are. In particular, though, I would like to thank Ruth Kelly and Chrissy Dux because they've been an amazing support in expanding our network, and they always help other people. They always give people a step up, which I just think is amazing. But also, just thank you for all the men actually that have supported us too, like Chris Clark, who's always trying to promote women in the industry. In fact, currently he is mentoring a young lady called Sarah, and she's got a very bright future, and thanks to him, she'll be doing very well. Thank you very much.
Oh, fantastic. Absolutely.
Big up to the men that give us support too.
Yeah.
Also, Ruth Kelly and Chrissy are local artists on our chart show.
They
so,
are?
Yeah,
That's true.
Chrissy's
Nice.
actually, I think she's number 8 on the chart right now.
Wow.
So, and she's been a previous number 1.
We need
So,
to add
yeah.
this to our Share Sync playlist as well. So fantastic. Oh my goodness. We've also got our monthly newsletter just coming out later this week. So we need to add that in. That'd be fantastic to share it out.
That I really liked what you guys were speaking about with specifically, even though I'm not actually like into music and I like music, but I'm not into like production or whatever. I really found it interesting when you talk about the 6-week course and how like, you know, what your friend was doing. And I was thinking like, because the way they see women in the industry, especially in the music industry, is that they see women as products in terms of they can sing the songs, they can perform the songs, but they think of production of music as something that's very technical, so they ultimately think, okay, only men can do that.
Yeah.
Like yesterday I was listening to an album, I look at the production, it's always men, and I see with like
Male
lyrics a
dominated.
lot.
Yeah.
Definitely.
With like writing lyrics, sometimes it can be women that are on those, but specifically with production, it feels like there's a narrative where, okay, this is just very male dominated. So seeing like the stats that you're talking about, and then also seeing the 6-week course, I was like, wow, I would actually want to do that too, even if I like just the idea of it interested me a lot. So
to redress the balance.
Yeah.
And those stats come from the Musicians Union. So
fantastic.
they're always looking into that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, one more thing you could add to your playlist is the EP from Love and Madness, which is called Who's Blue Volume 1. Maybe
Absolutely.
add that to your playlist as
Yes,
well.
thank you
Get
so
them
much.
played.
Okay, so something we do on Share Sync on our podcast and also on our Share Sync talks is we like to complete the episode by sharing something that we're either listening to, reading or watching. So I don't want to spring it on you, Pandora and Cass, so I'll come back to you in just a minute. I'm going to spring it on
I'll
to
go
Akram.
don't worry, I thought one.
As Akram is used to this as a regular contributor onto the podcast, Akram, what would you recommend to add to our Share Sync playlist in this episode?
I would recommend the movie Yes Man. I actually watched that yesterday. I saw it on Netflix, and I think in general the message behind it is really inspiring. Just
Take
to
those
help.
opportunities.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I remember when that came out, 2008.
Yeah.
Looking at that now.
Oh, God.
So that's currently
Great.
on
Thanks
Netflix.
for making me feel all that crumb. Thanks for that.
So yeah, take every opportunity
Yeah.
and form those networks. Brilliant. Cass, Pandora, who wants to go
Give me
next?
1 sec.
Okay.
I'll go first then. I'm going to recommend a book. I'm actually, as if I didn't say it before, I'm a writer, so I read a lot. I finished this book. It's my favorite book of last year, but I recommend it to everyone. It's called Mongrel by Hanako Footman. So it's her debut novel. Hanako Footman is a mixed race writer, so she's half British, half Japanese. And the book follows 3 women, and they're basically trying to, in their own narratives, they're trying to find themselves as women and experience womanhood in different ages in time. And I just find it really, not expiring. Why did I say expiring? Inspiring. As a mixed race woman myself, I thought I get the message so well, like trying to fit into one race or another and trying to find my space in the between, the gray area. And I feel like a lot of mixed race artists are surfacing more now, so I just wanted I recommend that one, definitely.
What is it called again? I'm definitely going to be
It's called Mongrel by Hanako Footman.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
And you
that's
can
nice.
find all of these in our Share Sync playlist in our YouTube comments underneath this podcast episode. And Pandora, what would you
I actually
recommend?
had to look up the name of the film because I couldn't remember what it was called. It's called. It really impressed me, this film. It was about an autistic young woman who was treated quite badly and pigeonholed, and she ended up going to an agricultural sort of college, and she ended up solving how to guide livestock through the daily processes and without harming them or upsetting them. and she worked out the science because her brain worked differently to the other people. And so it took her. This film is really inspiring because it talks about the journey of her persuading them that she's right and they're wrong, and it's a really good story. So Temple Grandin, it's not a new film. It's like 2010.
Oh wow! Yeah.
But I watched it recently and it was really inspiring. So yeah, there you go.
I mean, if we're going to add to the playlist, obviously, listen to Hills FM.
Yes. It goes without saying. It definitely goes without saying. Listen to Hills FM. The link is going to be in that YouTube page for ShareSync. So absolutely listen to Hills.
Oh, do you know what? I just remembered a bit of advice that I never said.
Yes.
It's never too late to learn anything.
Yes. Absolutely, absolutely. Oh my god, this has been the best episode so far, and I don't say that every episode, by the way. This is the best one. So, Pandora, Cass, will you come back on ShareSync?
Yeah, of course.
Definitely.
Yeah, thanks for asking.
Definitely.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Akram, thank you so much for coming on to ShareSync.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Pandora.
Yeah, no worries.
Thank you, Cass.
Of course.
And I've been Esme Sperling. We look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you for listening to ShareSync. Bye-bye.
Bye.